What's up, good people? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Casual Highlight, where we strive to educate, inform, and inspire while having a casual conversation about sports. Today, I'm going to talk about 3 things I learned from this past weekend. Lord have mercy. It was a great weekend of football. Great games took place. Let's get into it. First thing, I was watching BYU in Arizona. The Big 12, this BYU stadium. Now, I've watched some BYU games in the past, but watching them Saturday night and the things that Arizona State, the mental errors and the way that the fan base was excited for that particular football game, it's going to be tough for Big 12 opponents to go out there and to win a game out there at BYU Stadium. It's going to be hard. Even if I've even watched some of the basketball games. It's going to be that's a tough environment to win anything. A football game, definitely, well, basketball, but definitely a football game. That fan base is passionate, and I'm glad that the Big 12 picked them up. They probably would be in the conference in 2024, 2025. So I'm looking forward to them joining the conference. I'm even looking forward to hopefully Boise State getting in the mix as well. That'll be like a new rivalry. Boise State going up against BYU. That's the first thing that I learned. The second thing that I learned, go back to college football. My goodness. I know it's been 3 weeks. The season is still new, but Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State. And let's add Oklahoma up in there too, allegedly. We know what time it is with Oklahoma when they get to the playoffs. We already know what time it is. Anyway, I think it's going to be some new teams that from right now will be in this college football playoff. I still give Alabama the edge because of coaching. Now, this Ohio State and this Clemson, look like they're getting revamped completely. And last Saturday, we know we had Oregon come in there and beat Ohio State, and they called it an upset. Oregon did what they're supposed to do. They handled business. But when you don't have your own defensive coordinator calling the defensive plays, you got another defensive assistant calling the plays. You know it's some changes. You know that they're going through some transition over there in Columbus, Ohio. Alabama, they pulled it out, but they were kind of shaky. They had a comfortable lead, but Florida kept chipping away and coming back. And Saban called them out and said, "Hey, we got all these mental errors." And Saban gonna be in there behind all this week. He gonna be on them like white on rice and boo-boo to dookie. But Florida is coming. Georgia is coming. We ain't really got to worry about right now. Even Ole Miss. I'm looking forward to watching Ole Miss play Alabama. Ole Miss, I think it might be a year away. But right now, who's going to compete up against Alabama? If Florida sees Alabama again, if they see them again, they lost by 2 points and almost pulled out the upset. If they see Alabama again in the championship game, usually, you go with, I'm comfortable with picking Alabama. And I'm comfortable with picking UConn women's basketball. But if they see Florida again, Clemson, they got some work to do. And we'll just leave it at that. But the world's largest cocktail party, we're going to find out who's coming out the SEC East on that day. It's going to be Georgia or Florida. In Georgia, when they play Clemson just looked bad, I think, offensively. They got some work to do. The third lesson that I learned this weekend, the AFC West is no joke. The AFC West is for real. When you have the Raiders 2-0, they ride in momentum from that Monday night win. Then they go fly a 4-hour trip to the East and beat the Steelers. When you have the Denver Broncos pick up 2 wins. Okay, yeah, it's the Jets. Okay, yeah. No, excuse me, it's the Giants. Okay, and then you beat Jacksonville. Okay, yeah. But they handled their business. The NFL, everybody's pretty good. I mean, you got 1 or 2 scrubs, but you take care of business. You do what you're supposed to do to get the wins right now, because November, December, that's when wins become even harder, because people are trying to fight for playoff positioning and some trying to save their jobs. And they handle business. Teddy B was Teddy B. I told you I picked the Broncos to make the playoffs. Chargers. Think about this. They had a touchdown called back in the 4th quarter, and they had to settle for 3 points to tie the game up. And they lost off of a Greg Zuerlein kick. And now Cowboy fans are celebrating like they won the Super Bowl. And they love Greg Zuerlein. Let y'all think about that for a moment. And then the Chiefs, a fumble away from getting in position to win that football game. They had, and then when the Ravens got the ball back, they had to go for it on 4th and 1. You would be dumb not to go for it on 4th and 1. And some people, and there was some commentators like, they're going for it. They shouldn't. I don't know if they should go for it. They should. That was a good decision. Now, if it was 4th and 3 or 4th and 4, you can't do that. But 4th and 2 and 4th and 1 and inches, man, you got Lamar Jackson. Come on now. And you running all over the Chiefs defense. I am a Chiefs resident. I live in the Kansas City metropolitan area. It is what it is. Anyway, there was a fumble away. The handoff, I kept watching the replay of that handoff from Patrick Mahomes to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It looked like to me that Clyde didn't have a strong grip on the ball. And that when the defender popped it out, it didn't look like it was. He swung real hard to knock it out because Clyde wasn't holding it. It didn't have the ball strong enough in his hand. That's what it looked like. So think about that. Back to this AFC West. 4 points away altogether from everybody being 2-0 probably in the AFC West. Now I know we don't live in a what-if world right now. We go by what we know and what we have. But this AFC West, I know y'all talking about the NFC West. I know every year we talked about the AFC North smash mouth. They're nasty, we can't stand them. And we talk about the, who's the other division? We talk about the most. The NFC South, is a nasty, they rough with it. They, smash. AFC North is the lunch pail division. Everybody bring the lunch pail except for Cincinnati. NFC West, is tough smash mouth. NFC South. Bruh, AFC West is for real. Do you know what these teams, the last 2 years since the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, what they've done to build up their rosters to who? Defeat the Chiefs. And so these rosters are defeating other people because they're built. They took the Chiefs blueprint and they coming. And everybody in Kansas City is like, so people, Chiefs undefeated. I said, hell no, Chiefs undefeated. So the Chiefs have won 5 straight division titles, 5 AFC West division titles. This 6th one, which I did pick the Chiefs to go to Super Bowl. I did pick them to win the division. But this 6th division title, boy, it's going to be rough. This ain't going to be easy. If you get to make it to the playoffs in the AFC, if you go 10-7, you're not making the playoffs. If you even go sniff 11-6, you're going to need a miracle. That's how I believe these each week in the NFL is going to be. Chiefs, they're not going undefeated. They're not going to win. They're not going to be home field. In my opinion, they're not going to be home field. But this division, I already picked the Broncos to be the wild card. And the way it's looking, might have another one. Thank you for tuning in to my live. Hey, comment and share what you think, what you learned from this past weekend in sports, what you learned for college football, what you learned in the NFL, and what other sports that you may have watched over the past week in HBCU. What lessons did you see and you learn? And share them in the comments. If you like it, go ahead and subscribe and join the highlight team. And also going to invite you to go to alhygh.com. That's ALHYGH.com. Check out some of my podcast called Disrespect Your Senses, and just check it out on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Spotify. And also, I got this cool hat right here for my brand Highlight Sports. I got this hat. I got a couple other hats that I am selling on my platform. I'm definitely, if you're interested in getting a hat, go ahead and hit me up at alhigh@gmail.com, and I'll put the link for my flow page at the bottom of my of the comments, and my email address. That being said, God is love. Until next time, disrespect your senses.